How you doing, YouTube? Oh, my mic's working. A lot of these times when I start this, I don't bother to check my mic. I did this time. I figured, hey, might as well check the mic. Amazing stuff. How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of beer mill unboxing, courtesy of my boy Kyle from Brooklyn. Kyle from Brooklyn is no stranger to this channel. If you watch, you know he is a regular beer mailer. He's out of Brooklyn. We didn't really start, and by we, I'm pretty much me and Keith. He kind of sends beer mills who didn't really hook up with Kyle until he whatchamacalls it. Space brain after pandemic times, basically. So he started sending off stuff during pandemic times, so he's like hyper close to us, but we still haven't hung out in person. So once we get past this pandemic, we're gonna head into Brooklyn, me and Keith. We're gonna chug some beers with Kyle, but until then he's gonna send off some boxes. So yeah, it's been an eventful. I haven't had a beer mail unboxing in a while. I haven't got one in a while, to be honest with you. That's kind of weird. So I kind of hope there's a little nice little mixture in here. I hope there's mystery beers in here. I have 2 mystery beers left recorded, so I will put those one a week until I get some more. But I'm sure they'll come soon enough. And it's been an eventful couple weeks since I've done my last beer mail. My boy's growing like a weed. Micah is the king shit of Fuck Mountain, as you have seen in the video I posted about the North Coast Old Stock. My wife's halfway home to being vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. Micah got his first vaccinations, not COVID, mind you, but the heftier stuff, especially stuff that affects children. And we're getting to the point where we can start returning to, albeit a little bit of normalcy. I'm still wearing a mask, still social distancing, still doing all that stuff that everybody else out there should do, regardless of whether you're vaccinated or not. But it's fun. Looking forward. We're actually having like a sip and see, I guess is what it's called, with people that are going to come and hang out and see the baby, the king baby, on an outdoor event, all outdoor, and we're in our view back there. We've rented porta potties so nobody even has to enter the house, and just have immediate close friends and super hyper close family, reverse that, super hyper close friends, and then immediate family, and social distance, masks all the time around a baby and stuff like that. So just eking towards a little bit of normalcy, and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. But you know what's always normal? Beer mills. So let's dive into the sucker, see what we got going on. So yeah, look at this guy being a professional. I got a box cutter. What am I doing with my life? I'm not ripping into this stuff with like a weird knife or something like that. So we'll see what we got going on here. We got Logan up in the chat. He's drinking a nice little barley wine. Thanks for influencing me to start getting into that. Sounds very cool, dude. It's all about broadening your horizons. I'm drinking a little bit of shelfie garbage right now. I cannot believe that I can pick this up, substance. I can pick this up off a goddamn shelf by me. That's insane. Because, I've known Bissell for forever. The other crazy part about it is, look at the date on that motherfucking can. 5/12/21. This thing's 2 weeks old. That's insane. Absolute insanity. Charles says, is it odd my favorite videos to watch are stout, porter, and barrel aged stout and porter reviews? No, it's not, because those are fantastic beer styles. And Michael Borges chiming in saying, yeah, things seem very normal here in Cali. We just got lucky with a good vaccine rollout. I mean, honestly, like, more power to people who find vaccines and get them. But I had no problem getting mine. My wife had no problem getting ours. Like, I don't know maybe if Jersey's doing it better than everybody else, but like, I got my vaccine. I've been vaccinated since March. No, April. No, yeah, April, March, whatever. Well, I'm well over a month being vaccinated, and I got it really, really quickly, and got in and out pretty quickly. So I'm a lucky guy. My wife made an appointment. She specifically wanted to make sure she got the Pfizer one. She feels more comfortable with that, and we were able to do that here in Jersey. She was able to schedule an appointment specifically for that, so that's quite nice. There's a hillock. There's like just to show you guys, there's randomly strewn craziness going on here. So we're just gonna start ripping beers out of here. No. First I thought maybe notes, but no notes. So I just cleaned my room. I hate doing that when I just cleaned it. Anyway, Charles B, watching your videos has made me really want to try the Rev volume stouts. To be honest, they are worth tracking down. It's nice to see how you doing, Matt. Massive beers, massive cheers. What's up, homie? So first out of the shoe, ooh, other half. This looks like it's going to be a decent little other half box. Oddly enough, we've been starting to get other half off the shelf here. So Kyle is from Brooklyn. This is small, laced in space. Ooh, 6.5%. Other half, double dry hopped India Pale Ale. Oh yeah, buddy, I like that. Geometric patterns. Other half does not suck. This is from 520, so yeah, it's very, very, very old. Take down your comment. Sorry, Carlos. Let's see what number 2 has. Dream Club Oat Cream India Pale Ale. So their Dream series is typically ones that have lactose in it, right? That's what it is. Their Dreams. Oat Cream India Pale Ale. And this was 513. Look at that sparkly little fancy. Reminds me of like Gem and Holograms or something like that. We have other half Space Cut Double Dry Hopped India Pale Ale. And this has a date on it. 422. Boo! A month old is going to be garbage. Not really. I'm joking. I'm not one of those guys. So this is the other half jammer box. Ooh, KCBC box too. Grim box. All kinds of boxes. What do we got here? KCBC. This is their Croc West Coast style IPA. There you go. Beverly Hills Croc. Nice. Yeah. West Coast style IPA. India Pale Ale. Simcoe, Amarillo, Idaho 7 Mosaic. Falconer's Flight and Warrior hops. 6.9% alcohol by volume. Canon 512. I've always loved KCBC's labels. Then we have their Penguins in Space IPA. Penguins in Space. 4.9%. A Session India Pale Ale. Mosaic Motueka. Centennial hops. This came about a month ago. I think the comic book stylings that KCBC does. And a little Grim. Light lager. American light lager. 4.2% alcohol by volume. Serving facts. 197 calories and 11 grams of carbs. There you go. 0 sugars. So they just did their version of a semi-light. A lot of those American light lagers tend to be sub 100 calories, something like that. But I can get down with that. There we go. More comments. Charles B chimed in saying, if you really want to make sure your beers are shipped safe, both put packing in the package and plastic bubble wrap the drinks. Yeah, I mean, honestly, these are all cans. They're unless something really, really, really goes awry, they're gonna arrive probably fine. If there's bottles, obviously that's a different kind of beast. He did send some crowlers, and they were plastic bags because crowlers don't seal as well. But cans, pretty much, you could just pack. Probably the most important thing, and this goes for any box, but more specifically, just like the best way the 2 best things you could do is use good cardboard. I source cardboard for my company, and the good cardboard is worth its weight in gold. This is very stiff, hard cardboard, and the biggest error I would give Kyle here, and I don't think it's a big error because everything got here fine, is pack it. Like, don't leave any empty space. Like, throw whatever, newspaper, magazine, whatever. Get it so nothing can move. And that's the best. I always line my boxes with plastic bags in case something leaks, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, just pack it. Like, packing doesn't have to be packing peanuts. It's not so much that you're trying to protect the beer from abuse. Obviously you want to do that, so you keep that packing around the sides and whatnot, but it really is just, you just want those cans to be tight so there's no flipping and flopping around, and that's typically when shit can go sideways. Pizza Man CJM, real Brooklyn boy, represent, son. Kyle saying bubble wrapping each can is such a pain in the ass. It is, dude. I don't bubble wrap each can when I pack stuff. I sometimes I will if I have bubble wrap lying around. Typically I'll just build like a little cocoon around it, and I'll stuff the beers in there and get them really kind of packed and tight, and then pack stuff over the top of them. And as long as you line, the only time I really bubble wrap is bottles. And if I'm shipping internationally, I go a little bit more overboard because it costs so much to ship anyway. Grim. Ooh, my box style lager. Look at that. Look at that can. This looks like they did a collab with Burlington Beer Company or something, doesn't it? It says Maypole Maybach Lager, double the Cochin mashed. Ooh, 6.5%. That's such a beautiful label. I love their labels. What else we got? And there's a bunch of shit in here. KCBC, the Fellowship of the Bling. That's funny. Barley wine. There we go. We're talking about barley wine. It's a barley wine style Magnum Cascade East Kent Golden Hopped, 100% barley, 100% alcohol by volume. Wait, did you sell this? Did you send me this already? I feel like I've gotten this beer before from you. Canned on 12/30/20. For some reason, did you send this to me already? I don't know. I don't remember. It looks familiar. I don't know why. Oh shit! Other Half Great Notion collab. I was like, okay, that's Other Half, but it's Great Notion. So Other Half Great Notion collab. It's Other Half Great Notion Chaperones Imperial India Pale Ale, 8.4% alcohol by volume. 520. The bottom says be home by 11. Chaperones. I've always really enjoyed Great Notion's art. I think they want to have the more distinctive art designs when it comes to beers in the industry. And, you look across a room and you see Great Notion. You know it from a mile away. Pizza Man CJM saying, any comments on the Hill Farmstead to hired hand situation? Yeah, I have a lot of them. So the amount of issues that people have had with tired hands, more specifically, and Hill Farmstead tired hands, you obviously know there's something very amiss going on. But I believe, without a doubt, 99.9% of the stuff that was written to Brienne from Rat Magnet. For those that don't know what Pizza Man's talking about, is that one of the brewers from Notch Brewing, her name's Brienne. Her handle on Instagram is @RatMagnet. If you watch my channel, I don't know how you don't know this, but I've prefaced it that anyway. It started out as kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing, like someone at the brewery, and this is me remembering from what I read. I've read so much. If I get it wrong, I apologize. But she was at the brewery, someone was at the brewery and made like a crass joke towards her, or in her direction, or in her space. And it almost started off as like, hey, what's the dumb shit people have said to you at a brewery, as if you're a brewer as a woman. And at first, I don't want to say it was lighthearted, but it was more like, yeah, guys come in and they say, well, who's the head brewer? And I say, me, and then they laugh, stuff like that. But it morphed into a lot of like show and tell, or more tell, and show of just massive disrespect, wage gaps, sexual misconduct, rape, like, you know what I mean? Assault, things like that women have have experienced in the brewing industry as a woman in that industry. And the stuff that she's done is 100% fantastic. It needed to be done. I'm glad it happened, but I'm also very glad at how it's progressing. And by that, I mean, it's not because it was basically a Instagram story driven event. And while that was the catalyst for women feeling safe enough, anonymously enough, to voice their opinion, voice the facts, voice their experiences of what has happened, that it needs to leave that space. It can't exist in that space. That's not the right space for that conversation to have. It wouldn't happen without that space. So it's very important that it happened. But now it's starting to move more in a kind of checks and balance legal place, where it needs to be. That's where it needs to happen, because that's where real change is going to be made. So I think it was fantastic. I think it was great because it needed to be done. Let's put it this way. I'll tell you a story right now. I might have mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. I actually wrote Brienne during this when it happened, and I didn't write her to say congratulations or thank you very much, even though I said I really appreciate what you're doing. I actually sent her a story of me being sexist. Because sometimes you can have the best intentions in the world, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Basically what I did, and I felt like I handled the situation really great in the moment, but I still did it. Is basically what about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I was at a beer bar up in Orange County, New York, called Eddie's Roadhouse, and great place for beer. If you ever get up Orange County, New York, stop there. Great food, great beer, all that kind of fun stuff. And I've been there several times. Great friends with the owner. We text on the reg. Anyway, we're sitting there chatting back and forth, and I'm sitting like in a corner, like I'm sitting here, and then the bar goes over this way, so it's kind of like a L bar, and I'm sitting here, and next I'm right in the L, and the L goes this way, and there's two people. There's a woman and a man, and they're like chatting back and forth with Eddie, and then we just start kind of chattering back and forth, kind of talking about um beer stuff and just life stuff in general. And then Eddie's like, hey man, these guys are actually, like, because I lived in Jersey at the time. Well, I was moving to Jersey at the time. He's like, you're moving back to Jersey. He's like, they're actually opening up a brewery in Jersey, like hopefully over the next couple of years. And I was like, really? And immediately the first what I did was I turned to the guy and I said, what kind of beer do you make? And he very politely looked at me and said, well, he's like, she makes the beer, but we make this, and this. So I immediately knew what I did in that moment. I did what you shouldn't do, which is, I assumed that he was the brewer. And I felt like an asshole, like the biggest asshole on earth immediately. I was like, why the fuck did I do that? So he's talking back and forth, and I'm having a conversation back and forth. And I could see she was like, yeah, whatever, kind of miffed at it, because why wouldn't she be miffed at it? And I use the word miffed just because I'm sure it's worse than that, but I don't even know how she felt, so I don't want to put words in her mouth. So it's just my perception of what's going on. And we continue with the conversation for a couple minutes until it kind of dies of its own volition or momentum. And I just took a sip of my beer, and I just literally said, excuse me. I'm like, what was your name again? Because Eddie introduced us, but I forget everybody's fucking name. I was like, what's your name again? I was like, and I looked her dead in the eye, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm a fucking asshole. I'm like, I shouldn't have assumed he was the brewer. I'm like, I looked at him, I asked him, and that's wrong. I'm sorry I was that person. I'm not that person. And I just wanted you to know I feel like an asshole and a piece of shit. And she was like gracious. She's like, oh, thank you very much. Blah, 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 blah. But it's still, for someone like me who prides themselves on doing things like that, I can be susceptible to that. And it's not so much that I was like purposely trying to do that. It's just, you try the best you can. And if you do anything in life, you should pay the consequences. What were my consequences? Nothing really. A little bit of shame, a little bit of hurtness in my own sense. And from her, probably something she deals with on a daily basis. But the problem isn't being a negative person. Now, if you're talking about assault, rape, those kind of things, there's really no kind of room for like, oh, you fucked up, you should be good now. No, you fucked up, like you're beyond repair. You need to be a better person. You're probably not going to get killed or get the death penalty or whatever, but shit needs to be taken care of in a different kind of extent. But if you're doing stuff that's wrong, and you can see that and visibly acknowledge it, is the first thing, and just try to be better, and just to kind of circle it back on there, I could easily have been in one of those stories. It's not nearly as heinous as some of the stories, a lot of the stories that were sent in Brienne, but I told it anyway. You know what I mean? Not because I felt like that person was going to call me out for it, because I'm sure they've dealt with way more. She's dealt with way more. Fun fact, they've opened their brewery. It opened last year. They're doing amazing. I can't wait to go to the brewery. I don't even know if she will remember that I said that. I would think, but you never know. But it's important that it happened. It's important that it's taken care of, but it's important it moves away from social media and Snapchatty story stuff and becomes a legit, like, meaningful in, not that it's not meaningful. That's the bad word to use. A change maker. It makes it spurs change in a very positive way. So good. Yes, there's some negatives to it. There's a little bit of things that could have been handled a little bit differently. I think even Brienne would say that. But if you look at the totality of what happened, it's infinitely more positive, and very needed. Let's put it that way. Anyway, impromptu stuff. Anyway, back to the unboxing. Not to I had to address it. If you asked the question, I'm gonna ask it anyway. Cans get shaken on a package, erupt and spray everywhere when you open them. Well, if you drink them right out of the box, they do. You can wait like an hour or two, you'll be fine. And good points. Always look for your views on the beer scene. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you asking the question, Pizza Man. And Michael Borge, totally agree. So we have a little bit of other half here. We got a little double dry hopped India Pale Ale. This is their Toomey's Corner. How you doing, Toomey? This is from May. Man, dropping those haze bombs on me here, brother. Are we done with the? Do I have any more? I have these 2 crowlers. I know one of the at least one. Oh, there's another one in there. Oh, okay. I'm really excited for this because I love myself some Finback. And this is 7-year. I believe this has got to be their anniversary beer. The triple IPA. Okay, dry hopped with Belma, Brew One, Lupamax, Citra Lupamax, and Strata. 10.1% alcohol by volume. Happy B-Day Finback. So this is their 7th anniversary beer. I'm going to tell you right now, there's some breweries that do really great jobs of triple IPAs. Other half, definitely Equilibrium. Even to a certain, Hop Butcher does a good job more often than not. I've never had a triple IPA from Finback. And if you were to say, guess a brewery that you've never had a triple IPA from who might make the best triple IPA, I would almost certainly, I think, guess Finback or Grimm. I don't know if Grimm would do that, but I'm looking forward to that sucker. So anyway, I'm gonna take a sip of beer. And then I think that's it for the non-crowlers. And then we have 2 crowlers from Evil Twin. This is a Rat beer. It's a 5.4%. This is Evil Twin Rot beer. I remember talking about this beer because right around the time he released it, it was when he was like kind of, I guess I don't want to say shitting on, but kind of clapping back at Sean Hill about beer flavored beer and how he's like, because Sean Hill is basically making fun of people that make like pastry stouts and all that kind of stuff. And that's what Yep does, but Yep also does this. And he's like, why can't I fucking do both? Why does it have to be one or the other? And this is actually not an Evil Twin beer, even though it comes in Evil Twin Crowler. This is actually Root and Branched, not branched. Root and Branched is their Opes West Coast IPA. 7% by volume. I have not had anything from Root and Branch, believe. I'm excited for all this. Thank you very much, Kyle. This is a lot of beer. No mystery beers, but such is life. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. Just other half out the wazoo, tossing a little bit at KCBC. Grim, baby, what you doing? Other half back over here. Finback, hey, what's up? Evil Twin, Root and Branch. We're all over the place here in a very, very, very tasty fashion. So, thank you very much for that. I don't know what to say at this point. These are crazy boxes, and I appreciate the shit out of it. Pizza Man saying, I wish you could find Finback in New Jersey. Found it out in Mass by Treehouse once. Yeah, that would be really cool to get Finback out here. I don't know why we don't. You can get them in New York, and by that I mean, you can get them in New York. Like if you go up to just upstate New York, you don't have to go all the way into Mass. You don't have to go into Brooklyn either. From where I live about an hour away from the New York border in lower upstate New York. I don't know how you'd say it, Orange County, New York. And once you get up there towards Warwick, actually Eddie's Roadhouse, that place I was talking about, that's where they are. It's where like Equilibrium and Rushing Duck and Tin Barn and Drownlands, all that stuff is all in that same area. It's about an hour or so from where I live. And if you're at Route 80 or North New Jersey, you're kind of looking, give or take, about an hour. You can get their stuff. Even if you go if you're more in Eastern New Jersey, if you go up to like District 96 up in that area where New York kind of juts down a little bit, you can find a bunch of their stuff up there. So they can be found with a little bit of a drive. Ever tried Evil Twin Stout? Oh yeah, I've tried many of Evil Twin Stouts, and hit or misses. I can like them. I've had some really amazing ones. But yeah, And wow, that's a big spread. That is a big spread. And Kyle saying, is Ohio OH still doing big distro now? Wonder if they will taper off once COVID situation is over. I'm really curious about that myself. Yeah, they I can currently both in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, other half is distributed. Not everywhere. But they can be found. Like I went to a place in Jersey, New Jersey. I want to say maybe 45 minutes south of me, Flemington, by Conclave Brewing, close to Shroon Brewing. And I went to there and they had, I think they had, I want to say they had like 6 different other halves available. And then I went to another place, they had 4 different ones, or four additional ones, but they're all duplicates except for one. And then I went to another place and they had two of the same place stuff that the other places had. So it wasn't like a wide array of stuff they had. They were all less than a month old or right around a month old. Um, and they were all, I would say, fairly priced. Let's put it that way. For other half, they're fairly priced. Their like lower ABV stuff was probably like $18.99 a 4-pack, and their bigger double IPA pushing triples were $22.99 a 4-pack. You know, it's pricey, obviously, but you're talking about boutique brewery, Brooklyn coming here, a little bit of upmark, paying tax in Jersey. I wouldn't say it was the worst. You know, you're getting it as much. If you drove out there and bought a bunch of 4-packs, you're basically, it's your gas and tolls. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. So how much of those are IPAs? So we have what that, I don't know. This is a IPA. That's an IPA. That is an IPA. That is not an IPA, is it? Yeah, it's West Coast IPA. That doesn't count though. I would say probably 3/4 of these are IPAs because you have rot beer. There's a couple lagers in here. There's a light beer. So probably about a quarter, a third. Yeah. So Pizza Man says same about an hour out from Drownlands. We'll track some down this summer. Yeah, I mean Drownlands. Once you get to Drownlands, you're in Orange County. You're basically right outside Warwick, New York. And you're probably I'm telling you, like 8 minutes, maybe not even, to get to Warwick proper. And if you go to Warwick proper, like I said, you got to go to Eddie's. Great food, great beer beer selections. Like I'm telling you, you don't fuck around there. Like it's crazy. Like multiple hill farmsteads on draft, like crazy shit. Deal with the devil I drank there on draft. Like it's insane when it gets there. But Warwick's mad tiny, and you have 2 bottle shops there. You have a Beverage Plus 2, and there's another place. It's a bigger chain, but they both carry a ton of stuff. And every time I go in there, they have several different Finbacks, and they're all typically they're singles more often than not. I mean, now it might be 4-packs, who knows? But they have really good selections there. So that little, if you're about an hour from Drownlands, that's a great little loop. You know, going up there. Like I said, if I'm going up there, there's several breweries you can go up there. Like I said, there's, I would count. Man, that's too far out of the way. So I'm going to say Equilibrium. You have Rushing Duck. You have there's a bunch. There's a West. Was it Westland, West Farm, not West World, Weston Brewworks, Glenmere. There's a tiny little home brewer kind of set up there. Drownlands, Tin Barn, all that stuff's up there. And that's a great little loop for me. I like Rushing Duck is by far and away one of my favorite breweries, period. And their tap room's really fun and nice. I like Drownlands. I like drinking at Drownlands more than like buying Drownlands. They're pricey. Tin Barns, I haven't had a ton of their stuff, but I've like what I've had. Equilibrium, they're quite tasty beers, even though the stuff you get on shelves here tends to sit quite a bit up there. It's a little bit better to drink out of there. That Weston Brewworks actually I love it there. The view's beautiful. It's like above like a little hop field, and they make cool little small little beers and stuff like that. But that's a great little loop. Go up there, hit Eddie's, go grab a couple cans of beer, come on back down, done and done. Very, very, very fun little journey there. Dave Etchell says, can you get Hacker Shore beer? Absolutely. I drink the shit out of that beer. I don't know if have I ever not reviewed that? I might not have. I would assume I've reviewed their stuff, but it might have been like 5-6 years ago. Yeah, I can get a ton of their stuff. I should review more of it. People think this is all I drink. Like what I bought 4 packs of beer today. I bought a 6-pack of what is it? Wine. Why can't I say it? I drink it all. Wine Henfus. Why can't I say it? Corbinian. Whoever makes Corbinian that beer. Why can't I say that goddamn name? I bought their Pilsner. Man, words are hard sometimes. What else did I buy? I bought 2 New Trail beers because I was in Pennsylvania. One was a lager. One was a small little hazy. And I bought a Sloop hazy. But I already have like a bunch of like lower ABV chuggers and stuff like that in my fridge. So yeah. At the brewery, other half sells for 16, 18, 20 per 4-pack. So, the price point's not that bad. It's weird. Every time I see a beer package set, it's almost always IPAs for some reason. It's not weird. It's not weird for a couple of different reasons. And this will make sense. So, hazy IPA is way more popular than pretty much every style. So for it, beer males tend to be hazies. This is how it works because more people like hazy IPA than other beers. That's just fact. You know what I mean? Like when I got into beer right before the turn of the century, like, hazy IPA didn't really exist, but it's also like, it was a lot of uber traditional stuff. But I also met no one who was into beer. Now everybody's into beer, but it's also a lot of hazy IPA. So that makes sense. A lot of people send hazies. 2, when people send you any beers, they want to, I don't want to say impress you, but they want to send you what is good. And, a lot of breweries are focusing on making good IPA. That's what they're trying to do. So not only is IPA one of the more favorited styles, it's also by far and away the most produced style, especially with kind of regional breweries. Like there's bigger breweries, other half now will just make lagers and shit and they don't care. But you have that kind of brewery that is local to you and they want to make something to make the crowd be happy. It's going to be hazy, so they're going to send that stuff out. And people send me beers, they want to send me stuff that they like, and like I said, a lot of people like hazy IPAs, so it kind of makes sense. Now Kyle here has a nice mix of rot beer. He's at this Root and Branch. It's a West Coast IPA. Sure, there's a triple IPA in here. There's another West Coast IPA. There's a barley wine in here. There's a lager in here. There's a light lager in here. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different variety going on. So, yeah. One wheel to rule them all, says Yo. And Charles says, any good local stouts or porters you can easily get where you live? Yes. One of the best porters and one of my most favorite porters is actually called The Great Porter, and it's brewed by a very small brewery in downtown Hackettstown, which is probably the closest town with a brewery for me. I'm closer to a town called Blairstown. There's a brewery there, but it's like a brew pub. It's not like they don't produce cans and shit like that. There's, drink their beers. It's a little home brewery, but whatever. Beer's fine. It's kind of pricey though. Anyway, Hackettstown's probably the closest, and there's 2 breweries in Hackettstown proper. That would be Manskirt Brewing. They make the Great Porter, and it's like a 5.5% OG style, delicious MFing porter that I will drink any day of the goddamn week. That's delicious. Stout wise, I think I had one stout by them, and it was I couldn't tell you if I loved it or hated it. I thought it was quite nice. I can't really remember. Now I'll go the other direction when I mean that to Zigmeister, which is the other brewery, which you could literally walk half a block and get to from Manskirt. And they do a bunch of really nice stouts there. They even have a stout fest where they brew all these crazy stouts. They get a little bit more kooky, a little bit more pastry stout, a little bit more this and that. But they do traditional kind of barrel aged stouts and porters and stuff like that. Good stuff too. If I want to travel maybe a little further than 20 minutes, if you want to call that local, let's widen that route to 40. Then we have a much larger kind of swath of breweries. You're talking about now I can get to Easton. If I get to Easton, then you're talking about Bomb Place Brewing, awesome porter. You're talking about Two Rivers Brewing, awesome stouts and porters. There's a brewery there called Interlace. I think I had one porter from them, was quite nice. Go down more south in Jersey and talk about Flemington. You're talking about Lone Eagle Hoover's quite nice, and they do really, really well done traditional style beers. Porter is that. Conclave, everything they do is fucking amazing, to be perfectly honest with you. And then if I go east, 40 minutes gets me to Magnify. 40 minutes gets me. I could probably get to Twin Elephant if I really put the pedal to the metal. So there's some really good breweries doing really good stuff in a really decent kind of area I live in. Now, if we're talking on shelves, then in that just opens up much, much wider. Because then if we kind of say, okay, Jersey, only Jersey brewers producing stouts off shelf, Kane, I can get all kinds of crazy stuff. So I actually have a really great kind of access to a lot of beer here. Jersey's a great state for beer. It is, to be perfectly honest with you. And then Kyle chiming in again saying, I typically try to send stuff that's fresh and would be hard to get outside of New York City. And I love you for it, brother. And Dan Rich says, I see some Grim, yummy, grabbing a beer now. Yeah, I love Grim. Honestly, I've always enjoyed Grim. I've really enjoyed what they've done from inception. But it seems like they have grown exponentially better, at least for me, since they've started to become more familiar and more comfortable in their own brewery. I think their beers were quite nice before they opened their spot, and I thought they were quite nice when they opened their spot. But it seems like, I don't know, something clicked maybe, at least for me, in my perception of what they make, in that, about a year, half a year into their brewery, it just something clicked, and they just started making stuff that really, really appeals to me. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So there we go. Man, we're already at 36 minutes on this fucker. I didn't mean to go this long. Charles saying, my local brewery is called Straight to Ale. They bought out a school that closed to use as a restaurant brewery and have an IPA called Monkey Knot. Okay, fair enough. An old brewery, a brewery in an old school. I can see that. Actually, the one brewery up by where I used to live in Pennsylvania, they were an old church school, like a CCD school, Breaker Brewing, and they had a church, and there was a school next to the church. The brewery was in the school, the church was empty, and then they moved the brew house into the church, and then expanded the school into a tap room. I've been there forever. One Wheel says, what's your thoughts on 903 Brewery slushies? I've never had one. Couldn't tell you. Now, if you want to know my thoughts on slushy beer, let me actually, that's the best way to segue. What are my thoughts on slushy beers? I don't like slushy beers. What do I think about slushy style beverages? I think they're very, very tasty. Basically what I'm saying is it's not beer. I don't care that it's not beer. It's absolutely fantastically tasty stuff. Listen, hot day, sitting on the beach, you give me a margarita, I'm a happy camper. Same thing. You hot day on the beach, give me one of those slushy beers, because that's what would probably be good. A nice fruity drink and a nice hot summer day. It's just not really beer. We don't call cider beer. We don't call seltzer beer. They're essentially made using the same process. So I think slushy beverages would be a better way to put it. I'm not a BJCP nerd. I'm not going to sit here and say, they can't be classified as beer, whatever. It is what it is. But I think they're absolutely, when they're done right, they're absolutely tasty. I just don't really view them as beer, if that makes any sense. Let's see. It says, have you been to their brewery? I'm planning to visit with a buddy of mine. Grim? No, I have not been to the brewery yet, because, I had all the plans in the world to go to Grim, and then, I just dragged my feet, and then pandemic happened. So can't go. I will go. I won't be meeting up with Kyle, who sent me these beers, and we're going to get shitty at Grim and at Folks Beer and a bunch of other breweries, Threes, and have a grand old time drinking way too much beer. That'll happen. This is going to happen this year. Hopefully, rose-colored glasses, it does. But if it stretches into next year, we'll see. But I'm definitely going. Me and Kyle definitely going to chug some beers. There you go. That's it, guys. I'm gonna go. These need to go in the fridge. No, they've been in the fridge. They're actually nice and cool. Maybe I'll review one of these tonight. Maybe. And I'm gonna go. It is late already. It's probably close to, yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock, man. I got home late because I had to help a friend fix a computer. And I appreciate everybody stopping by. This is a really great little unboxing. A lot of talk, a lot of comments, people chiming in. Is very appreciative of you guys stopping by, and more importantly, appreciative for Kyle sending this off and letting us have this conversation. And it's time to hang out and chill. So there you go. So thank you very much again, Kyle, for sending these off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed doing this and watch me doing this unboxing. Hopefully you enjoy me reviewing all these. Hopefully you're enjoying some good beer right now. That's probably kind of important. Portman? That's a word. Important. Hopefully see you next time. Weinstefano. That's the brewery I couldn't say before. I don't know why I couldn't say it because my mouth wouldn't work. So